And we are wrapping up our mayoral candidate conversations this morning with Ellie McLoone, a local realtor and longtime La Crosse resident who's been active with the Heritage Preservation Commission. Good morning to you, Ellie. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to see you. So someone working directly in housing, what immediate steps would you take as mayor to address the housing shortage that we're seeing and, help kind of attract new residents also?
Yes, well, currently right now they are working on the zoning and code, which is going to be instrumental in moving forward. Likewise, there are several developments that are in the hopper right now. But more importantly, there is 3 different types of creative loans that the WHEDA has established, which is the Wisconsin Housing Economic and Development Authority. One is for infrastructure. That will help with sewer and water lines on the exterior of the building, which tends to be a very big expense for developers. There's a second one called Restore Main Street, and that is to give funding towards developers or even somebody who owns a building of a storefront on Main Street, but they want to renovate the 2nd and 3rd floors for rental. And then finally, there's also, it's called Vacancy to Vitality, and that's looking at, and we have several of these in the area, big box stores that are empty, or strip malls, or just empty bank buildings. Again, looking at getting some assistance to help get the funding started and start to work on redeveloping these locations.
All right, so as we take it into this, we've got La Crosse's population is declining, while of course neighboring areas are growing. What specific policies, what do you like to implement to increase our level of?
Well, as a native born and raised in La Crosse, I mean, if you look at the history of the population, it's really been 50 to 53,000 since the 40s. Okay. So with real estate, everything's up and down, things change. But I think some areas that we can definitely look at is promoting the fact that we are a top 50 city to attract people. Money Magazine rated us in the top 50 cities to live in. So I think taking advantage of opportunities like that, as well as, we have different programs all the time. This weekend there's a state ski meet at Mountain La Crosse. So promoting our city, again, through that organization, you're going to have a lot of people in town. Likewise, through the various festivals. I'm involved in Irish Fest. That's another way that you can promote the area. Working as well with our largest employers, the hospitals and the universities, promoting La Crosse to stay here as an opportunity when you finish your internship or your education.
All right, and something else that you've emphasized is balancing preservation with growth. So how would your development approach help attract new residents while, we have a lot of character here that a lot of people would want to, preserve?
Absolutely, yes. And again, the one program that I mentioned through WHEDA, the Wisconsin Housing and Education Development Authority, the Restore Main Street. So that's still keeping the integrity of the storefronts, the front elevation of the buildings. So that's one way of doing it. Plus, retrofitting buildings to work with the need that we have, if it's for a business coming in or for expanding that for housing. So there's a lot of creative ways to keep the beautiful architecture that La Crosse has.
All right, you've been clear about following federal guidelines on immigration enforcement. Why is that stance, or why is that your stance, and what would it mean
for La Crosse?
I'm sorry, for La Crosse.
Yes.
I apologize.
Not a problem. Yes, well, federal law, the Supremacy Clause in the Constitution states that federal law trumps state and local law. So if the Immigration Department asks for assistance, we would offer to help them. As far as, the staff being low, that's a concern, and I'm sure that they have people that they would bring in as well, but we would have to definitely follow the federal law, and we don't want to run into a situation where we're running into losing our federal funding. I mean, we've seen that as cities and states throughout the country so far, that they are losing their federal funding for not following what the federal law states. So I feel comfortable that we'd be able to work together with them and assist them if needed.
All right, Ellie McLoone, well, thank you very much for being here and sharing your platform with us this morning.
Thank you.
Of course, the primary is Tuesday, so everyone get out and vote. And if you'd like to review our conversations with all of the candidates from throughout the week, you can visit news8000.com. Stay with us. We're back right after this.